They say 7 heads together is stronger than one. Making plays, open J's, and the open run. If we talking about breaks and shooters filling lanes, all my dogs is down for war. You can tell how they train. Coaches coaching, players play, but they learn from each other. If the roles are reversed, it's Jason Kidd, we assist one another. Making strides for a ship in the regular season. Lacing up these nights, a band of brothers turning into some demons. Through the season, spring to fall, we gon' see who is working. When the winter hit the surface, gon' see who deserve it. Left competition in the dust, now the opposite deserted. Only lions in my circle, we hungry for purpose. Nothing's given all the stripes, you can see that I earned them. Can't fuck the system, take the knowledge, just study and learn it. We as strong as the weakest, 1 through 12 is equal. Tried to trap me, saw it now, you know I had to thread the needle. You know I had to thread the needle, try erase and draw it up, just trying to see my youngins in. Yeah. You know I had to thread the needle, try erase and draw it up, just trying to see my youngins in.
All right, welcome to our first edition since the quarantine, our personal quarantine for Black Lives Matter throughout the protests. And want to give a shout out to everybody that's been doing their due diligence with making this movement possible. We have a special day today. We have 2 coaches in the building, both from the same program, a head coach and assistant coach. Want to thank Renard Johnson for coming out, and also Anthony Ridley, assistant over at Potomac High School. How you guys doing?
I'm doing great, man, and thanks for having me. It's really an honor and a privilege, and I appreciate it.
Hey, good, man.
And the coaches, we're going to jump right into it, Ant, unless you got some words for the people. You know.
No, let's get right to it.
All right. We're gonna jump right into it. The coaches are already prepared their pregame speeches. We're ready to jump ball. The drivers board panel will answer a few questions, and we ask the questions that we think that the people should know. And most of the answers we already know, but we want to make sure we get this information out to the masses as well. So our first question is coming from Coach John Kamara over at Parkdale High School.
What's going on, coaches? How you guys doing?
Great, man. How you doing, Coach?
And we appreciate you guys, for coming on the show, after our layoff, and y'all being the first coaches to get on the show. So we definitely appreciate you guys, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Again, thanks for having me.
All right, so this question is for both you guys. It doesn't matter who goes first. So who's Coach Johnson? Who's Coach Ant? Tell us a little bit about your basketball background and how did both of you guys get into coaching?
So I'm at Potomac High School. That's my alma mater. I graduated in 1986. I went on to play college ball at VMI for a year and a half, and then I finished up at the University of Delaware, where I played point guard. I was a graduate assistant at the University of Delaware for 2 years before did other things in my career. Got back into coaching in 2009 with Coach Robert Garner. We were at Friendly High School, and we've had some pretty much a lot of success there. The opportunity at Potomac opened up, and I took over a program. We were 2-20 at the time, and as many of you know, we have a lot of pride and tradition at Potomac as a basketball program. So when I was over at Friendly and we just beating the brakes off Potomac, it never set well with me, the alumni, and the community. And they just said, hey, we got to get you back in there so, we can restore the program to some level. And in 10 years, we've done pretty well. And that's pretty much it. I don't plan on going anywhere in terms of the school. I'm also a teacher there. But I do plan on planting the seeds with folks like Coach Ridley and making sure that we can keep the tradition going to have some level of success and respect and get kids into college. That's why I'm doing this.
Definitely. Coach Ridley?
I'm 24 years old. I went to Potomac and played for Potomac from 2009 to 2013. Was going to walk on at Morgan, went to Morgan, was going to walk on, ended up tearing my ACL, and then just stepped away from it for a little bit. Wasn't really interested anymore, wasn't interested in working to come back from it or anything like that. graduated. The day I graduated, 2017 from Morgan, Coach Johnson texted me, said, you might as well come aboard. I was already working out people when I came home, being around the team, helping some of the players up at Morgan, working them out. So I was just like, might as well. I wanted to get back around it. So soon, that's all it was. It wasn't no interview process, wasn't no nothing. It was straight. You want coach? I said, yeah, and that's what it was. Got right into the gym. So this is my second. I just finished my second year coaching. And for me, I guess why I'm doing is just to help the kids, man. I mean, just being in the same environment that I grew up in and knowing the challenges they face. I'm just trying to help them out as much as possible. Most of our kids don't have the income or the resources to go out and get trainers or to go out and play for the best team or play for whoever. So I'm trying to help them to reach their full potential, to get them in school, to get them a free education to my best ability. So that's all with me, man. I plan on being a head coach one day. I plan on going to the college level and preferably the professional level one day.
Man, I appreciate both of you guys' stories. Very similar to both of you guys. My coaching, journey started at my alma mater too, and like Coach Ant as well. I think the day I came home from college, I was leaving North Carolina. The first time I entered Batesburg Gym, Coach O told me I had to coach. It wasn't even a question. So I just had to, I just got jumped on board, started coaching summer league immediately when I came home. Just like both you guys. So I definitely, appreciate that journey because we have similar backgrounds. So I'm going to keep the ball rolling. I'm going to pass it to Coach Tobias Jennifer at Huntington High School.
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, man.
What's up, boss, man?
Not too much, man. I will say this is a pleasure having you guys on. We've been away from it for a while now, and with everything going on, I think it was very important that we took a step back to focus on other things, especially going on. And this is actually the first time, and I could be mistaken, that we had a head and the assistant on from the same school. So I think that's pretty cool. That's a different dynamic than what we've been doing over the last couple of months. My question, I'm just going to keep it rolling. My question is from Will Maynard. So you both, from the sound of things, have both been at Potomac for some time, and this is mainly for Coach Johnson. But Coach Ant can chime in. You both have been at Potomac for some time now, and obviously have had a lot of success. Can you tell us some of the accomplishments you have had since becoming a coach at Potomac? So I'll just start with Coach Ant, and you could say as a player or as a coach, and then after that, then Coach Johnson can go on and talk about it, either or as well.
So as a player, well, like he said, my freshman year, we were good. We were very good. Went through some bad circumstances where they had an issue with one of our players. They thought he didn't live in the area. We were supposed to play in the county championship, supposed to have the first seed, but then they ended up taking the games away. But it ended up getting cleared up that he had an address. He was in the area, so they ended up giving the games back, but it was too late for all that. Our first two to 3 years, we could not beat Thomas Stone. We couldn't beat Thomas Stone at all. They beat the brakes off us every single year. We'd go down there. I remember my freshman year, I got moved up to varsity, excited, got the brakes beat off of us. I thought we had the best players on earth. Got the brakes beat off of us, got beat by 25 when we went down there. Sophomore year, like Coach Johnson said, we were terrible. We were 2-20. We had another coach that was in the county, and it was bad, man. It was bad, man. 2-20. We couldn't do nothing with nobody. We was losing by 30 to everybody. Coach Johnson came over my junior year. Immediately had a good impact. We had Dion and a kid by the name Mark Givens and Dave Williams, and we just turned it around. I think we went maybe like 15-7 that year.
No. We went 19-6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so we did that. We did good. The next year,
No, and we lost to Thomas Stone again.
Again, and that's when was it the Wizard came and talked to us afterwards.
Frank Ross.
In our locker room. I thought it was
Stacey Robinson.
No, I thought it was Walt Williams.
Oh, Walt Williams. Yeah, right. Yeah.
He came talk to us, and then he gave us some type of motivation. He said, "Man, first thing he said, y'all got the brake speed off of y'all." That's after a loss, you know what I'm saying? So the next year, worked hard all summer. Went in, and I think, where we go that year? Our last year?
22-3.
Yeah, and I don't think we
and
lost.
we beat Thomas Stone that year, but then we got smashed by Milford Mills in the state championship.
So we made it to the state championship and got beat by like 27 by Milford Mills. The lights, I'm telling y'all, the lights was too bright. I don't even remember what I said in the I usually talk in the pregame warm-up. So I usually talk in the huddle. I don't remember what I said. I think I was just yelling because I was so hyped. I don't know what was going on. We got beat by 27. So then I went on and came back. So as a coach, I guess the most I've done, it's only my second year, is made it to the regional. We just lose the regional, I believe. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's it, man. We had some good years last year, 18-6. This year, 22-3, I think. So, I mean, I had some good years, man. I just can't get over that hump, at least for me as a coach. Right now.
That was you as a player.
Huh?
Oh, yeah, just recently. Right.
These last 2 years, I just, we can't get over the hump for some reason. But, I mean, that's it for me. I mean, it is what it is. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as a coach, man. I'm helping out. I'm making the right connections to get where I need to be and where we need to be as a program.
Absolutely.
Helping out Coach Johnson as much as possible, and we only gonna get better. So,
that's right.
Ask me this question in 5 years from now.
There we go, Coach Johnson.
So, it's been wonderful. I did come in. I took over from another coach, and Coach Ridley, he and another player, Coach Williams, they found me that summer. They tracked me down, and they said, "You want to be our new coach?" I said, "Yeah." And the transition was smooth. Ant was a leader. What he didn't say, and he's very humble, he was class president at one point at Potomac for his class. So he always had leadership skills and leadership position. I mean, it's no fluke. I wouldn't put, man, some of the guys I've coached, you think I'm going to put them on my staff? Are you crazy? So I did text him, and it worked out, but it was a very hand-selected, plotted thing. It's not that I sent them a text willy-nilly. So he's always been a leader. He was a feisty thing. He got in fights every game. He would get a technical foul, and I didn't care because I'm like, look, man, just go get under that kid's skin. We was playing against Thomas Stone. They had the kid, BJ. What was his name? He could play. MJ. Briscoe.
Michael Briscoe.
Yeah. Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he could play. And I was like, man, go get him, Ant. And guy 6'2", about 170, 180. And I just say, just get on his nerves. It's like, don't worry about nothing else. And so he was that kind of player. So, some of those stories are my better stories. I will sit here and really say the political thing which is real. Like a lot of people don't know, Deion Wiley now has a master's degree. Randall Brody just finished his degree. It feels good that one of my kids is 2 classes away from a master's degree, and his roommate was Ja Morant at Murray State. So I have a lot of good things to hang my hat on, but it's the kid. We had a kid that didn't start until his varsity. He played JV. Not like I'll keep an 11th grader on JV if there's a chance for him later on. I don't get caught up in that. I don't get caught up in, you're kind of a superstar 9th grade. I'm gonna put you on varsity. I don't get caught up in that. I want to develop, and so we have a process. So there have been times, and O could tell you, his cousin was good enough as a 10th grader to
Can y'all hear?
Lost him.
Hold on, Coach John.
very, carved out process You know, we've had some regional appearances, and we've been to 3 state championships and only won one. But the relationships that I've built with the guys like Ant and all of that matters much more. I know that sounds like the typical coaching answer, but it's really that more so the wins. Do I remember those losses? Yes. I don't remember a lot of the wins. I remember every one of those losses. I could tell you the circumstances. I could tell you every bad play we made last year against St. Charles that cost us. I could tell you every bad coaching decision I made in those games. I could tell you every bad decision I made in Oxon Hill. I'll take the credit or the blame for those 2 losses and St. Charles. I'll take that. You know, it was some things that I didn't, and it's not taking anything from those teams or their players. They're fantastic players and excellent coaches, but you know, I really don't take credit for the wins. But I know in most of my losses, I could have done something different. And again, but that's not to discredit any of those other coaches or their programs. I understand the mistakes I make all the time, and I'm my hardest critic.
Absolutely, man. That sounds amazing, man. You know, I too, and just kind of to touch base on what both of you said, obviously playing in the SMAC, there were some tough Thomas Stone teams that I could never get over the hump as a player. I don't think as a player when I was at Huntingtown, because I went to Huntingtown, I don't think we ever beat Thomas Stone as a player. And just as recently as this year, my first time as a head coach, I finally got over the hump of beating Coach Lambert. And, you know, it was fulfilling, you know, but to see the joy in the guys' faces is what it's all about. And those are memories and things that those guys will never forget. And kind of to touch base on what Coach Johnson said, those relationships and those memories, man, you know, those last a lifetime. Those are amazing, man. And you can say politically correct all you want to, but that's really what every coach that we've had on here has talked about is those relationships that they've been able to build. It's bigger than wins and losses, honestly. And out, man, you know, that's what it's all about, you know.
And not to cut you off, but I'll forget my thoughts. I'm getting a little older. You did an amazing job this year with that team, man. I loved watching you coach and you guys play. And by the way, do you know Mr. Plater, Terry Plater? Was he?
Yeah, he was there when I was in high school.
Yeah, that's my man. We played golf together.
Get out of here.
Yeah, that's my man. Good man. Great man.
Well, next time I see him, I definitely will say something.
There you go. Just say Renard. That's my man. Yep.
Oh, man, small world. Small
world.
All right. Well, I'm going to throw the oop over to Coach O. We're going to keep this show rolling. I appreciate you guys' answers. Obviously, we have a couple more that you're going to hear from me down the road, but I'm going to pass it over to Coach O from Bladensburg High School.
Yeah, it's thanks, Tobias. It's amazing to hear those stories because I think John touched on, I stepped away for a quick second, is that same phone call that John got. As soon as when I heard he walked across the stage, I don't even think he went to go get nothing to eat before I actually called him and told him that he was coming back. He was coaching. You know what I mean? But you know who those kids are, and you know who they are, and you know who you want around your student athletes at the present time. Mm-hmm. And you want those around people that you can physically see that it ain't got to be I made it to the NBA. I got a degree. You know, I came through the same hallways as you. You know, I had the same adversities that you did. You know, and when they come back and make that difference, then they start to see that change is possible. So definitely appreciate that feedback on that. And my question I have for you guys, and we touched on a little bit, I think the other day at Top Golf, and I wanted to get back into this so that people can know. Me and John, we're like maybe 2.5, 2.6 miles apart from Parkdale and Bladensburg. Can you touch on, Coach Johnson, can you touch on how the close and proximity that Potomac is with Oxon Hill?
Oh, my gosh. So it's crazy because when I saw you guys, I was actually coming from home. So every morning, literally, I have to pass Oxon Hill High School to get to Potomac. And basically, it's 5 lights up St. Barnabas Road, make a left on Wheeler Road, going towards DC, and go make another left and go down into the hill, down to where the school is. It is so close. And again, you know, we talk about it like, Oxon Hill walk, like we have football games, all their players, they come to our dances, our homecoming, our game. I'm like, man, who's on whose team? I mean, it's really that close. It's amazing. And just like I was saying, only Lou Howard and me, the only two coaches can be in this 5-mile radius, but it's really close. They could use the same metro buses, whatever. And no, I'll even tell you the real fact, which is unbelievable. I have students, one kid goes to Oxon Hill and the other kid goes to Potomac in the same apartment, living in the same, and so it's so convoluted. Nobody questions who did this, who took what test. It's just all the kids are so intermingled because of the proximity. And I've given up. We literally got folks. So true story. One of the kids that play for Oxon Hill, one kids play for us. They had a backyard. This weasel in them, and they took the fence down. In between it, their parents took the fence down so they could have a whole court. But one goes to Oxon Hill and one goes to Potomac. That's just real. Can't make nothing up like that. You cannot make that up. So it's tricky. It's really tricky. And when you're dealing with a Lou Howard, it gets extra tricky. But I'm going to leave it. It's really tricky. I'm like, oh. I just saw him in church the other day. Let's talk about this. That's it.
So as a former player, how from that perspective, and the same thing because Johnson just touched on, how is it? To me, I think it's great. It reminds you of old school basketball. You see, but then when it comes to game time, it's like, is this your boy or is this we gonna battle?
I got you. So look, this is why out of the last 2 years, we didn't beat Oxon Hill one time, and it's like, and I told all our kids, man, I give them I keep it. You guys, Coach John, I keep it real. I'm keep it 100 with you. I be like, what, you scared of him? That's your man. Like,
let's clear it up. Before you got there, we beat him 4 straight times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe it's me, cause listen.
So hold up. So I'm trying to think. We lost to him twice last year.
We beat them one time. We lost them the first game in the playoffs.
Then we split the year before.
That was last year. This
past
year.
Since then, them beat them
one time. This past year, we ain't beat them at all.
No, we beat them. We lost them twice. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So we played them 5 times, and we only beat them once.
Nah. Your math is good. You was good at English, but the math is off. But anyway.
We played them twice in the regular season like we do. We played them in the playoffs. They hit the buzzer beater. We played them twice. They beat us at our house. We beat them at their house. Then we played them again the next week in the playoffs, and they beat us with the buzzer beater. That's twice. Right?
All right.
This year, they beat us twice.
Oh, yeah. That's right. You're right.
You said you're getting a little old. You just said that.
I am old. I'm a lot old. All right. Touche. You're right.
So, last year was my first year. I didn't know too much. We ain't play Oxon Hill when I was in high school. We ain't play Oxon Hill, even though it was right down the street. So last year was my first year. So everybody telling me that's the big game, that's the rivalry, da. So I was still learning how to be a coach. I didn't do no type of scouting, no nothing. I didn't know how close they were either, as far as the friends. You know what I'm saying? They live next to each other. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that. So this year coming in, playing them, I'm telling them, look, y'all, they not our friends. Like, y'all could be friends March. You know what I'm saying? They don't think y'all their friends when they see y'all. So why are y'all thinking they y'all friends?
And mind you, he had a lot of expletives in it while he was saying it. So it would be bleep, 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 bleep right now. But go ahead.
But I'm keeping it 100. I'm like, man, like that's who it is. So I'm gonna keep it 100. On paper, it should have been no contest. But their heart, they have a different type of heart over there when it comes, and they have great coaches. They have great coaches, and they got a different type of heart. And it's like once our kids saw that, the gym be off. Like this year, the gym was packed out. I mean, some of y'all said y'all heard the kids in the crowd got in a fight mid-game. Like it was crazy. That's the craziest environment I've probably been in as far as a basketball player or a coach. Fight got on the floor and everything. So that's just how that shit in a nutshell. That tells you how close it is. Like our kids, every time we play them, it's sold out. The gym is packed. You got dudes knocking on the door asking to pay $100 to get in. Fights breaking out. Now seriously, it's bad. I never seen nothing like it. I mean, I didn't. So like you said, so to answer your question specifically, I'm telling these Bahamas, look, he's not your friend. Like, come on, Joe, get right to it. And I don't know if it's me, because like you said, he beat him 4 times straight before me. I don't know if it's me, but we can't seem. It's like they see Oxon Hill, they think it's gym class.
So this is what happened. When we first started playing them back again, we kind of had their heart a little bit, right? Now they've gotten real cozy and comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Any little it's all gone. We ain't got nothing coming. But this the amazing thing, Coach. It's like if you go to Oxon Hill during the daytime, and you go to Potomac during the daytime, and we're 5 minutes apart, the worlds couldn't be any more different. Like you can't, like Parkdale and Duval got some similarities, you know, this and that. You know, like, you know, Oxon Hill. I mean, it's intact. I mean, it's like comparing Oxon Hill and Roosevelt. I mean, Potomac and Roosevelt. I mean, they're Roosevelt South. You see what I'm saying? And we're Potomac, and it's 5 minutes apart. And you know, we and Coach Crow. I mean, it's different, but that's all right because I think my kids carry that chip on them shoulders. But Oxon Hill now, you know, they be chummy, and we lost any competitive edge against them. It's gone.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I knew when you told me about it, I knew about it, but I think for me and John, we're in the same conference.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, just like you guys been in the same neighborhood, being in the same conference, and I know 1A, 2A, 3A, you know, the same thing. Me and John can possibly play each other 3 times in 1 year. If it came down to it. So it's a plus and a minus to it, you know, but getting your kids to understand that we not friends right now, because I know I told John in the regional championship game, I had to actually make myself like, you know, I don't know him right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it was difficult, but I had to do it for those 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you would have thought nobody knew each other on both sidelines, but it was a good game, you know, and I just had to do it. So I definitely understand. I appreciate y'all insight on that as well. I'm gonna pass your ball back, so I didn't want to catch the oop to buy, so I'm gonna throw it off the glass, and I'm gonna do like Wade like this, and you got the next question.
Nah, man, I appreciate that. Coach talked about he knew Mr. Plater, and it's just such a small world, because we had Coach Lou. We've talked to Coach Lou before, and when you guys were at Friendly in 09, and I want to say it's 08, 09, I was on that 09 team at Huntington when we played you guys at Friendly in the playoffs. And then also the year before we played you guys at Huntington and got the win that year to play Largo. But Coach Wade was already gone from there. So it's just a small world, man. You know, I'm also, like Coach Ant and like yourself, I'm also a graduate of Huntington High School and now the head coach. You know, so like the other coaches in this chat, man, you take a lot of pride in your school, especially when you came from it and you want to see where you wanted to go. So I just kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit because I'm just writing down a couple of notes. I didn't know you were on that friendly staff. So like we've mentioned and we've talked about a little bit, you know, you said you know Vashon Gross, who's actually my athletic director right now. I played for him for a couple years while I was at Huntingtown. So you've mentioned when we were at Topgolf that you've had a chance to watch some SMAC basketball games over the last few years, especially because a good handful or a handful of the teams in your region happen to be schools within the SMAC, like St. Charles, Huntingtown, just to say a few, Great Mills. What are some of the similarities and differences that you've noticed between the SMAC and PG County basketball? And this can go for either one of you, because I'm sure Ant's played against some SMAC schools and obviously has coached against St. Charles and a couple other SMAC schools now. So I'll start with Coach Johnson, and then then Ant can chime in.
Well, first of all, I'm actually friends with Coach Ball and Coach Moses down at North Point.
Yeah, great guys.
Great guys. So we've always kind of, coached together, talked about things. If you ask me, because what people don't understand and realize, Oxon Hill and us, we're the only two 3A teams in Prince George's County, right? So the majority of even with our region, with them redoing it, taking the Baltimore teams out, it's us in the SMAC. That's what it is. It's us in the SMAC. So what I've seen is it feels like when we play now, even Great Mills, when we play you guys, and when we played you guys, it's funny because even in 2012 or 13, we played Huntingtown and Westlake, usually in the first round or whatever, it changes 2A, 3A, whatever. But, if I play Mouton and all of them, it feels like I'm playing Oxon Hill. It's the same to me right now. I think the SMAC ball, and again, I'm not beating up anybody. I'm like, the teams that we play sometimes in the district, whether it's T. Roosevelt or whatever, we, put up 40 against them or whatever. I'm like, the SMAC, the teams, when we play the SMAC is I'm like, damn, why can't, I'll be honest, I'm like, man, we want some more PG County schools in this 3A. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm looking at the population. I'm like, it's sending me and Oxon Hill down there to fight all these SMAC teams. And the level of ball is incredible. And, I think a couple things. There's a lot of talent down there. And then sometimes it's fewer schools, because Northern is going to come up. I'm trying to tell you. That's why I told my team, we better beat them good, because we're going to have to see them for a long time, and they're going to come for us. So in a very good school, very good educational system, so you're able to keep a lot of the students in the public schools. So it is challenging, man. Like I said, at first it was us and the SMAC mixed with Baltimore, which was ridiculous. I'm like, that was the craziest region. I mean, you know how many jurisdictions you pass to get to La Plata from Baltimore? So, in all that talent in one region, I mean, we went 21-2 and lost in the second round to Poly. Like, that's wrong. And we beat some people that year. So, 4A's loaded, I get all that, but I would match our region with any region in the state, any region in the country, everything. That's all I'm saying. I'm not doing an excuse thing, but it's going to be hard for me to win another state championship.
Yeah, I said that same thing to these guys, man. It's like the gauntlet. It's like a gauntlet. You got to be on your A game every night. You might play Oxon Hill, then you're going to play Potomac, then you got, at that time, then we had Poly, then Great Mills, and St. Charles, and I'm like,
City College.
City. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
So, I know exactly what you mean. And you got anything? On some of the differences?
Yeah, so speaking as a former player, when I was playing, when we would play a team from out there, it was, we would love it, because we would want to use our toughness to beat them. You know what I'm saying? It was always like, we're going to go out, we're going to punk these dudes. We're going to be the thugs they think we are, and we're going to get in there, and you know what I'm saying? We're going to get up in them, and we're going to get them up out of it. But now, seeing it's an even playing field. It's an even playing field. Not necessarily just with being the thugs or being punk, but as far as the talent, and the players and coaches as well. Like at any given day, you can be beat. You know what I'm saying? Especially going out there or even them coming to you. You can be beat. You guys out there, y'all got the players. As you can see, you got the coaches yourself. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have all the tools. Back then, I would say it wasn't like necessarily like that. Maybe a player here, a player there, but now you got 4 teams out there that can get it done. So I say it's definitely a difference now than it was years back because it's even playing field. It might have dropped off for a few years when we were playing, and maybe that's what I saw. But now it's even, and any team we can go down there and lose the yard now. You know what I'm saying? It is possible to happen.
Absolutely, man. I've said it before. I say it again. You know, I always look up to PG County basketball. I've got some great coaches on this panel that coach in PG County from the obviously the 3A, 4A, and all of that. So you know, the model that you guys set for everybody else, you kind of set the example. Because PG County is really between PG County and Baltimore. And no disrespect to Moco, because I know Wade's out there now, but between PG County and Baltimore City, I mean, those are like the 2 meccas of high school basketball within the state of Maryland. And when I say the state of Maryland, I'm not talking about DC, but I'm talking about the state of Maryland. Those 2 are like the hotbeds. So, you know, when I'm coaching and things of that nature, I try to mold our players to try to play like the teams and get ready for teams that they're going to see, like the Oxon Hills, the Potomacs, or the Polys and the cities and things. So, you know, every time we get ready in the off season, it's to prepare for those types of games. But man, it definitely has changed a lot over the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years since I've been at Huntingtown or coached and played. So it's good to hear. So I'm gonna pass it over to Coach Wade from Blake High School.
Coach, is good getting to talk and listen to you guys' story. Kind of just taking it all in right now. And just you kind of touched on your region, and other than Oxon Hill, what's some of the biggest rival games since you guys been there outside of you know, just the normal Oxon Hill and in your region?
Okay.
Talk about other teams in your region.
So Largo, when Largo was there, Lou was there before he left to go to Oxon Hill, and that thing was brutal. I mean, the Largo games was dog fights forever. But this is what I want you to know about the 3A, 2A, 1A. We could play Crossland. They could be 1-15. When they play Potomac, all of a sudden they look like the Harlem Grove. I mean, it's like they look like the Lakers. I'm like, what? This ain't the scout report. I mean, Central High School. Pew is going to have them trying to rip our throats out of our necks. Friendly always want to scare us. So when we don't look down at anybody, but we're 3A, you know, and our region is what it is. So when we play the 1A, 2A, even Surrattsville, the Mario's going to have those guys ready. And I'm going to tell you this. People may see some of our gaudy records, but a lot of time, man, we was down in the 4th quarter. I mean, we get everybody best shot. So to answer your question, we go through the schedule, we're like, damn, that's a struggle. That's a coin toss. And then you can ask Coach Ant, and I'm not being, you know, that coach. I'm like, man, shit, we lucky we go 500. I'm like, this schedule? I mean, every year, because I just know them guys are going to come for us. And what happens is, to be honest, if we get them the first game and we play them the second time around, you know, we building up our confidence. And sometimes they have some attrition or some, you know, some things that may have happened. But that first game, we play anybody in our 3A, 2A, 1A, they're coming, man. I mean, who am I missing, Ant? Friendly Oxon Hill? I mean, we ain't got to talk about that. Like I said, Surrattsville going to give it. Crossland, because, again, they're familiar. Our boundaries are all mixed up. Let me tell you a quick story. So we had a kid that left T. Roosevelt. He's from Maryland. You know how that goes. So he wanted to come to Potomac. We raised the kid. He played Silver Hill Boys Club. He wanted to come to Potomac. Something happened up at T. Rose. Dynamite kid. He could play. So we're thinking, all right, let's do the transfer. Come to Potomac, whatever. The apartment complex that he lives in Marlow Heights, one building goes to Crossland, one building goes to Potomac. Guess which building he lived in? Crossland. I mean, craziness. So, but you got to remember that same guy played against those kids growing up. So he had 33 points against us. I mean, it's how do I say it? I don't know. I love it, but all of our joints are rival. Now, that's a long-winded way to say, I mean, you can talk this Oxon Hill, Potomac stuff. Nah. I don't want to go to Crossland. No. Try to get on the bus after a win, leaving Crossland. That ain't fun.
Coach, I understand because me and Coach John and Coach Williams, we always had this convo because we left. I went to Largo 07. We left the 4A and went to 3A. Mm-hmm. And we didn't get to play John and those guys at Blade, but we ended up winning the county championship. So there's always this thing like, man, we miss each other. And the 1A, 2A, 3A is definitely a lot of players out there. So I definitely understand that. So the next question, I want both of you guys to answer this, Coach Ann. You can go first. For whatever reason it may be, what's your most memorable game that you've coached in? Whether it was a loss or a win or for any reason.
So I got so I'd say the and I'm gonna give you two. The first one is the St. Charles game that we just lost in the regional championship. For one, because the atmosphere was crazy. That's probably like I explained to Coach about a week ago, walking in there. I'm used to walking out of the locker room and just walking to the bench. You know what I'm saying? They had the high bleachers. You looking up, you seeing the fans. They got their hands out, dapping you up like you in the league. You know what I'm saying? Atmosphere was crazy. It was crazy. And that was one of the best games I've ever been a part of, not even as just a coach. And I want to say the second one is against, and we lost that one. And I want to say the second one was against T. Roosevelt this year. Was because it was a lot of people betting against us. They were like number 2 in the Washington Post. We was like number 16 or 18 or something like that. And everybody saying, yeah, they gonna blow y'all out. And I got a saying, it ain't nothing against nobody or no coach and nothing. But I got a saying, before every game, it don't matter who we play. Coach Johns be like, and he's serious when he say, like, I'd be surprised we go 500. They going to give us some go. If he asks me, man, we're going to beat them by 40. Like, I say that about anybody.
It could be the Lakers.
It could be the Lakers, man. We're going to beat them by 40. You know what I'm saying? It's just the confidence I guess I try to put in our kids, you know what I'm saying? And we went out there, we won. I promise I've never seen our kids hit so many shots. I didn't know what they ate. I think they ate pizza. I think we tried to feed them pizza the rest of the year because I thought that's what the remedy was. I mean, the Bama Corey hit like 5 in a row. He started shaking his hand. I thought he was hurt. He talking, nah, coach, I'm hot. I'm like, so that's those two games probably the most memorable games, and the Oxon Hill loss last year in the playoffs. So those two games, good. Those 3 games.
Well, first man, y'all better get them pizza for the rest of the year.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pineapples, whatever was on that pizza, Alfredo sauce.
Well, the problem with that one was, and I told Rob, he's a good friend of mine, Rob Nickens. I said, Rob, you gonna press me again for 32 minutes, 94 feet? I said, if you
no question about it.
Rob, that's the way I play, coach. Man, let me do me. I said, all right. Don't be mad when that score looks crazy. I'm not doing it on purpose, but you attacking me, man. You don't press the team. We want to be pressed, but anyway. So my two are losses. It was 2013. We played Eleanor Roosevelt in the county championship. We had them Bamas beat, man. We beat, and then, you know, as Owen can contest, when you somehow it seems if you playing against Roosevelt, calls get tricky at the end. I'm not one of them guys that talk about calls because I'm lead a St. Charles game alone or nothing. They beat us, but it got a little tricky. But my guys gave it our all. Man, we had them scouted to a T. We're up by 1. First of all, they didn't get across in 10 seconds, but they didn't get the call. So what? So they running the play and they running their sets. I mean, Brendan got these dudes perfectly sound oil machine.
Always.
Always. So I told them in the huddle, watch the back door. They're going to go back door.
Don't switch.
Do not stay disciplined. Get the principles, everything. Just do not go for the back door. They did it the first time. My guys are disciplined, stand in the lane. Man, they did that thing one more time. The kid, Micah, I forget his name, Michael Alexander, something. Man, he dunked it to win the game by 1 at the buzzer. Unreal. Next year, I'm playing against my man Rob Garner, so I should have known better. So I told Rob, this county championship. I said, Rob, let's just roll the balls out and play, man. If you want my tape, I'll send you my tape. I said, I ain't scouting you, man. I said, let's just play basketball, man. We know each other. We running the same stuff. We know each other's numbers. Let's do this. Okay. So, balling. Atmosphere is crazy. We down by 11 at halftime. 13 at halftime. By the middle of the end of the third quarter, it's tied. Then a fight breaks out. You got Wise and Potomac. They gambling, place. And everybody said at Wise, even my man Jason, that place was totally sold out. Never been like that again for a county championship. People sneaking in the back door. Man, that thing was on. It was cooking. We missed a couple free throws at the end. We lost 68-66. But the atmosphere was good. We ended up beating Oakdale in the state championship after beating Patterson. Coach Garner and them, I think they beat Springbrook and somebody else, and so we both won the state championship. So that loss actually got my team probably better ready for Patterson because Patterson was good. Those Baltimore teams, and I tell everybody I'll tell you how to beat a Baltimore team. I would always go and play in the Mayor's Cup, the Baltimore, the basketball academy. I said if you don't have your boys play a Baltimore team or two before you get to the state championship, and the first time you're playing a Baltimore team in the state championship, you're not going to beat them. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And I remember when North Point beat a Baltimore team. If you look back, they had beat a Baltimore team earlier that year. And this is years ago with my man in them, right? But you got to play those guys because they touch you, they talk. And I remember my players said, Coach, they talk more S than we do. I said, yeah. And that first time when we played Milford Mill, and they had Justin Jennifer and those guys, we could not stay with that group because it's a different style of basketball. And if you want to beat a Baltimore team at the higher situations, you better play a Baltimore team early.
Hey Renard, I was at that Wise game, man. That's probably the best high school basketball game I've been to.
That thing was cranking, wasn't it?
Man, that wasn't the only thing that was cranking in there. Them kids came in there prepared. And I ain't gonna say what, but oh my goodness. But
yeah,
I've never. It's hard because every time I go to a county championship game, that's the first thing I say when I see the crowd, and I say, okay, it's a nice crowd. But that crowd, I mean, that
wasn't it?
The Matthew Gonzaga game, the way they was, how everybody go crazy over those type of games. I mean, it was the same thing to the 10th power, man. That was a great atmosphere.
Unbelievable atmosphere. Yep.
Man, I definitely appreciate it. Look, as my man Tobias normally say, I got my notepad. I definitely put that down. I'm like, dang, maybe that's why I ain't won no state championship yet. Nah, I definitely appreciate it. I'm gonna go ahead behind the back pass to my guy, Coach John.
All right, what's going on again, coaches? So I'm gonna shift focuses again to like one of the main reasons like we did the show this way. Like we said a couple of times, we just admire how you guys, like the relationship that you and Ant got, you know, similar to like how me and Coach O had at Bladensburg with a couple other coaches, Coach Small, which he's not with us right now. He's normally on the show. And it's just great to see that head coach and assistant coach relationship. So Coach Renard, like what is your vision behind, you know, pushing your assistant coaches, you know, to the next level or making them be great, giving them duties? And Coach Ant, you can answer after that. Like, how do you take what he's giving you and, you know, apply it? And, you know, I definitely want to talk about this later as well at our coaches meeting, but I just want to know how you know, are taking what Coach Renard is giving you and, you know, applying it and doing the things necessary to be visible in the coaching world.
All right. Excellent question. So I give him, so he's earned, so basically I focus on the game plan and the practice plans, right? He executes the practice plans because he has the energy, the ambition, and there have been times I'm like, you know, let me just go coach the JV for the day. He has it. So long as I give him, you know, the practice plan, some deficiencies we may have had in the last game or whatever, he takes it through. And to be honest, he got those guys trying to kill each other. I don't even have a stomach anymore. I'm like, damn, we got a game Friday. I'm like, and he out there, I'm like, man, I can't. I'm thinking somebody gonna get hurt. I'm like, somebody might get suspended. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but he has it, and he has the pulse of those guys, and they respect him as coach. They don't call him Ant. That's Coach Ant. You see what I'm saying? So he has developed the respect. They know what he went through when I did have that energy and did have that thing. He went through it all. So he has that street cred, if you want to call it that, amongst that. So I'm like, man, y'all don't even know what he went through. Y'all, like he was blown away. He said, Coach, have you gone soft on me? He was not liking me. I'm like, Ant, things have changed now. I can't do the same things. I can't have balls whistling by y'all head and making y'all catch bricks and all this. I said, man, I can't do that no more. He was like, he's like, Coach, you gone soft. I was like, Ant, you gotta understand, times have changed. So here I am, the head coach, explaining to my young assistant that I'm bringing back how to run my program. But I'm explaining to him, like, Ant, just let me do this. I had some old coach. That's the Coach John. Finally, that's the Coach Johnson I want right there. I'm like, Ant, I got it. I said, I still got it in me. I just can't do it. So, you know, he takes it and run with it. He handles all my huddle. I don't even got the password. You know what I'm saying? I trust him, and I don't know the password. I'm like, Ant, what's the password again? So I just wanted to see some stats. So, you know, so I handle the numbers and stats and percentages and all that. You know, I coach him on really hard on Tuesday and Fridays. Saturdays, I'm getting the water. I'm sweeping the floor. They got it, man. He got it. And then my other coaches are older. So my plan, I don't want him forever. I want him to go do something else. He's always got a spot with me. Just like I'm glad he's doing the other AAU stuff. And folks like Chuck Henry trying to take him away from me and all that. And I'm cool with it. It's cool. But but I want him to blossom, man. And just like I was saying with Tobias, man, like I have so much respect for Vashon. That's my man. But I seen him the first time. He's the AD, but I seen Vashon at the end of the bench with a clipboard. I can do that. Like if Ant wanted at some point take over all that, give me a clipboard. And you know, I'm serious. I'm beyond my ego. I've had, you know what I'm saying? I don't have that. I want him to flourish, man. I'm in there with him today. We spend time together in the office. Look, son, I want you to get this. I want you to take the practice. Son, I want you to take these classes. I'm always on him about self-improvement because I want him to be better than me. And if I can get him without he wants to be. He's his own man. Don't get me wrong, but I can guide him in a lot of ways to help him prosper. I talk to some of my former guys that I either played ball with that's at Virginia Tech, Cincinnati, like some other coaches. I'm like, I'm gonna have this young boy ready for you in 2 years, so he can go, and I'll get another kid that I coach. And I'm like, it's time for you to fly the coop. I'll tell him when I know it's time.
Definitely. I know that's the formula right there. Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. But like you said, he helps me a lot. I mean, not just coaching wise. He's definitely like a good father figure for me, man. Helped me in life. Like you said, he's telling me take these classes, get this certification, go get your master's, go do this, go do that. Don't mess with this shorty. Don't do this. You know what I'm saying? She might burn you up. Slim, don't do. You know what I'm saying? He give me a lot of advice on every aspect in life. But as far as the coaching thing, like he said, man, he literally gives me the keys. Like literally gives me the keys to the gym, the front door, the back door, everything. He'll literally walk in, talk to the guys, get in practice. All right, see you later. You know what I'm saying? And it's at first it was a little overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to mess up. You don't want to tell the kids with not the wrong thing, or you don't want to get a kid hurt, or you know what I'm saying, or this way, this and the third. But you gotta learn your way. I mean, I'm pretty sure all you guys know, you gotta learn your way and find your own style of coaching as well. He tells me all the time, we sit there, we might watch some film, boom, you gotta watch this, you gotta watch that. And for the most part, he always tells me, you know what I'm saying, just stay humble. Stay humble with whatever I do, man. Don't get overconfident. Because it all could be gone like that. It could be gone like that. So like I said, he gives me keys, man. I got a ton of respect for him. He tells me what not to do. He gives me all these responsibilities, not just because I can do it, I got the energy, or he don't want to do it, but because I got to learn. Because one day I'm going to be giving my assistants, you know what I'm saying, those same responsibilities, and I got to figure it out for them or help them figure it out. So like you said, man, I'm my own man, but he definitely guides me in a lot of aspects in life, especially coaching though, man. I definitely look up to him as that father figure, as that good father figure in my life.
Man, definitely appreciate that answer. And that's a question that I had, that's like the main reason why I wanted to do this show that way, because I went through it. Like I tell Ant all the time, I was Ant about 5-6 years ago, and we had those responsibilities. Like, Coach O, we have let's say a parent meeting, and you wouldn't see Coach O in the practice, and he would just have to have that confidence in myself, knowing that we're in the gym doing what we're supposed to be doing. We can have a game the next day, but if it was a parent meeting, probably wouldn't come in the gym that day. And just having those responsibilities and the keys, and it's going to translate to the next question, because like even in the summertime, I think the standard way is, just coach a summer league game or whatnot. But now we actually was running AAU programs with like the Bladensburg kids and things like that, and really getting our, own coaching style within that. And, throughout the whole summer, like, we'll be working like 4 jobs, and you really wouldn't see him that much, but he'll have that confidence. He'll give us the keys to the gym, and we're just working with the kids, and that's how we gain a rapport with the kids. So definitely understand that, and that's definitely the way. So speaking on the summer, I'm gonna pass it to Coach Desmond Wade. I think I spoke on it a little bit, but he's gonna finish that question up for us.
Man, before I go there, y'all got me feeling emotional. I got to shout out all my big bros, my father figures, man. Coach Ward, Coach Howard, Coach Coach Lou, Coach Pat, man. I gotta give a big shout out, Coach Joyner. Nah, but that's definitely good stuff. But to the second phase of the question, Coach Ant, what has been your involvement with the AAU as of recent, and what's your views on it?
So my AAU adventure kind of was, put on hold because it is COVID. But I mean, as far as we've been doing conditioning, workouts outside, and I've been to every one so far. So I'm really trying to just learn my way, ease my way in. trying to learn my way and figure out how things work. I play AAU, but it's way different than what it was then and now. You know, like a completely different scene. The other day we had the workout in the gym, and Coach Chuck couldn't make it, and so he told me, you know, go ahead and do my thing, just like what Coach Johnson would do. So that's perfect because that helped me for that situation. And like I called Chuck right before the practice. He like, man, you just go ahead and do your thing. He said, you know what's what, you know what I'm saying, da da da. He said, just go ahead and do your thing and run through the practice. So I mean, I've ran one practice so far. I work with the kids. I try to work with the kids on the side as well. If they live in the area, try to get maybe some outside work here and there. But that's all it's been so far because of the COVID process. But I mean, it's been good, man. I'm looking forward to it. Got a bunch of great dudes around me, you know, ready for the road trips and you know hit the scene and get right. But I mean, it's been good so far. I think I'm around the right group of guys to help me learn and get better as a coach and as well as a young man. Because a lot of you guys have been in my shoes, you know what I'm saying, or walked the same walk or a similar path as me. So you guys, anything I'm going to go through, you probably have been through. So you're going to be able to help me get through it on the court and off. So, I mean, it's been great so far. I mean, like I said, y'all been treating me like family. And I ain't got nothing bad to say about the, you know, the process, right, you know, so far.
Nah, man, definitely you are a great addition to the family. And the crazy part about it is, I mean, because I'm I guess one of the young guys too, and I'm trying to gather all this knowledge in from them, and then sometimes they'll be like, man, what you think about this? And you know, and they more so want to kick this convo back and forth. And so just learning the different perspectives of them kind of like just builds upon my knowledge of the game. And I guess they would say so, like, they'd be like, hey, man, that was a good point. And I'm like, man, I just was talking my regular. so,
yeah,
so man, definitely.
Like it's good to see, like, you guys, I mean, like I said, like he said, I'm a humble dude. I don't like to my home, but you guys give me a lot of credit all the time. You guys I'm always hearing somebody say you guys are speaking highly of me. And me being the only assistant at his school, along with a bunch of head coaches, it gives me the confidence to know that I'm doing something right. You know what I'm saying? It gives me the confidence to know I'm doing something right. I'm making some type of impact, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do to get better in this work. So, like, you know, I appreciate you guys. You know, big fella, I appreciate y'all.
Nah, we here, man. Coach Renard, how do you feel about the state of the AAU? Coach, you got to unmute.
We can't hear you.
Got to unmute yourself.
My guy, we can't hear you, my guy. Can't hear you.
My bad. All right.
Nah, you good. You good. You with us.
So I come from an era where, you know, AAU was just that post high school career kind of thing, or that summer thing, right? So it was nothing on the scale of this. Like, this is a whole nother level, right? A whole nother beast. Without being disparaging at all, I have no interest in being a part of AAU because I just need my downtime. You know what I'm saying? I don't even coach summer league for real. The last time I coached summer league, me and O almost got in a fight. So, and I think John was there.
I was there.
That was crazy with Daniel and them. Anyway, long story. But I just, you know, I let my assistants, you know, like somebody once told me, and I'm gonna tell you, Coach Garner always asks me, "What do you think, Renard? What do you think, Renard? What do you think, Renard?" And it's like, if you got assistants, let them coach. So somebody like Ant, I'm like, man, he can go get all this knowledge from the AAU situation, right? I don't need to go do it. So he can bring back to me stuff without me having to go to, I ain't going to Las Vegas. I mean, Man, I'm 52 years old, man. I may look younger. I ain't going on. I ain't hanging out. I ain't going to nobody's bar, nothing like that. Not saying that's what you do. I'm just saying. I'll go see my kids play and support them. But, you know, at this phase of my life, man, I got my last daughter that's about to graduate from college. You know, I got a Savannah State shirt on. That she goes to Savannah State. One is graduated from Clark. One's graduated from Harvard. So I'm in that age, but I think you need both. I think both need to coexist. You know, I do support those programs in my thoughts that I, you know, certain coaches, certain programs, certain people that I really respect in the AAU game, right? We all, you know, but it's needed, and Ant, by all means, go do it. Bring back this. Like Ant has come in 2 years. Now he didn't even do AAU yet before that, but he's like, Coach, let's run this set. Let's run this set. I saw a new set. I'm like, all right. I've been running the same set since y'all was in elementary. You know? But I'm just saying, he's going to get some of that stuff from where he's at.
Oh yeah, I'm still in place for sure.
And I don't care. Y'all gotta understand, it's so much bigger than me. That if he's got a good set that he wants to do, I'm like, you know, I ain't gonna remember it. I'm like, you know, you better know it. Like what play? I'm like, oh, that looked like that play called Portland. He's like, Coach, that's Hampton. I'm like, I like that one better. What about the one I think you said Morgan? Oh yeah, all right, let's run that one. Call that. Do they know it? Oh yeah, Coach, they got it. I'm not even making this up. Am I, Ant?
No, he dead serious.
I'm dead serious. I'm like, run the one when he comes off the screen, hit the back screen. What is that called? Oh, and it's on the game.
During the game.
So I want him to get that knowledge and bring it back so we can be a better program.
Yeah, for sure. He not stealing, and we all borrowing it. We all borrowing it and enhancing and keeping it moving. I guess seeing you at the Top Golf was the first time we actually like got to converse a little bit, but I always see you in passing, and right. I always take some of your knowledge that you be kicking out because you just dished it. So thank you for your abundance of knowledge you passed my way, man.
My man. And my daughter used to go to Blake.
Oh yeah.
One of my daughters went to Blake. Yep.
Oh, so you know about how we go through the same thing on our side. You can go to Blake, Springbrook.
That's in Paint Branch. One with the Blake, one with the Paint Branch. Yeah.
That's exactly how it is over there.
That consortium, in Springbrook, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so hopefully we can power through that. And
that's where I know, right? You know how Springbrook does.
Nah, we got them once this year, but they know what's happening.
They always try to suck up on us. Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead. Hey man, good catching up with you. I'm gonna go ahead and pass you over to Coach O.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Good insight, man. Like I said, we always got a notepad, like my man Bias always say. Few things I want to touch on, and before I get into my question, absolutely correct. I don't know if I told John and Dez beforehand, or I just did it. I might have just did it because that's normally how I do things. But we got to a scrimmage game, and I had each one of them coach a scrimmage game. We had like a jamboree type thing, and each one coach one. You know, I just sat back and I evaluate, not them, the kids. Because when you coaching, you don't have the same lens in that first seat as you do in that third and fourth chair. You know? So it's like you want to get what you want to get out of it so you can actually break it down later on in practice. The other thing too, I was always told, if you don't want to be a head coach, you don't need to be an assistant. You know, so the vice president don't want to just be the vice president. Right. You know, at some point he knows that there's a strong possibility that he's gonna be the president of the United States.
Oh yeah.
You know, so you gotta have that confidence enough that you can be able to do the job. You know what I mean? And it's just like with assistant coaches, because the process for me, I coached JV for 9 years. You know, and my job was to get players better for Coach Butler. You know, and one thing that I always put my hat on is that I never coached a kid twice. So that means I was doing my job. He came to me as a freshman. By his 10th grade year, he was on varsity. You know, so, and that was one of the things. So keep doing what you're doing, man, and keep growing. And, you know, network, you got somebody in front of you that's going to be giving you that knowledge, man. like you said, it's not stealing. It's called learning. You know what I mean? So take all what you can. A lot of assistant coaches don't have those head coaches that rely heavily on the assistant coaches. I had to learn the hard way because I wanted to do everything. And then you find yourself in January, you burnt out.
Yeah.
You know,
that's real.
I had to learn the hard way. And that's what made me more so conscious of making sure, not use the word develop, but make sure that our guys, that's everybody that's around you is growing, you know, and stuff like that. I had this issue too, and I just want to know how you did it. And I guarantee we kind of like did it the same. I'm gonna tell you how I did it after you tell me your story. How can you? What did you do for a kid like Corey?
Mm-hmm.
How did you manage and coach a special kid like that?
Excellent question, because you definitely had it with Daniel. He was special. He was good. So with Corey, a lot of people don't know he's still only 17 years old right now. So he comes from a very good family background. At the very beginning, I made a strong connection with his family, his mother, and that sort of thing, and his grandmother, to let them first know that they can trust that their young man with our program, with so many different things pulling him, right, to get him from Potomac. Like, people like, why is he there, this and that. So I had to get them to believe in the program. You know, I met him at 13 years old. He didn't know anything. Like, I'm not even making this up. I literally had to walk him from one class to the next class. I mean, I'm not even joking. So I made sure our kids aren't trusting until they show that they can trust you. And where I'm at, these kids are real keen. They real street smart. They watch how you look at, you know, talk, whatever. So to manage him, and I had the previous thing with Deion Wiley, where you get these guys that later on want to come pull these kids from you. I just kept them close to the vest. But what I did, I'm going to tell you the best thing we ever did, especially Ant. We never treated him differently. We never treated him.
I probably treated him the worst.
Probably treated him the worst, especially Ant. I'm like, Ant, come on, man. And plus, Ant ain't allowed around the JV doing practice. He might, I might be on the news. So Ant, go to varsity. I'll take JV, man. You just too much. But we never treat him differently, man. So the Ant, like I tell you, he would be in Corey all in his chest, and I'm just like, oh wait, I just kind of lay back, but we always let him know we were there for him. We always knew what we were up against, but and he's the best one. He just wanted to be one of the guys. And I'll just say this, you know how it is in our neighborhood down there. It's better to try to just be one. Where you don't think you're better than anybody. And we made sure that we kept a thumb on him about that. We didn't care, when he played at AAU and all of that stuff. Corey, you're at Potomac. And I tell them all the time, not to put them down, there's nobody greater than this team and that name on the front of the shirt, man. I'm a big Redskins fan. And I don't care if we stay the Washington football team. Just like when we were Potomac and we lost the Braves as our name. There you go. We could have just said Potomac for the rest of our lives. So Corey, and I remind him, we've had some pretty good folks that have come through there. Whether it's sports or whatever. Your CEO was one of my classmates, Monica Golson. We graduated together. Like, Corey, by the way, we got one of only 32 NBA head coaches in Phoenix right now. And he was much better than you. He went to Notre Dame and played in the NBA. So just before you, get a little bit too big for your britches, just the same hallways, we had some folks that didn't do too badly for themselves. And we got to keep them grounded. It's not throwing it in their faces, but they got to know their history and their heritage.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree too, cause like when with Daniel, when we had a couple kids, and I think we had a learning curve. John, you can correct me. We had a little bit of help with this because we had guys like Wally, Gerald, John, that kind of like showed us, a way how to navigate with that. Because one thing I can say, and we had a coach at Bladensburg, a white guy, Ryan Redmond, when he first got to Bladensburg, that every kid was going to think that they was LeBron. And then when the practice was over, he said, Coach, these kids, these some coachable kids. I said, yeah. He said, man, none of these kids think they the best. I said, He said, why? I said, because we let them know that what team you made first team last year, you made second team, third team, honorable mention, and if you did make first team, guess what? There's a guy named Thurl Bailey that played before you. There's a guy named Six that played before you. It's a guy that wore number 5 just like you. And give them those things, not to break them down, but get them a better understanding of what's going on. Because when I first met Daniel, his job was in middle school was to run rim to rim. And if he caught the ball 2 times in a game, oh well, in middle school. As he grew, everybody know that Daniel grew, but while he was growing, he always developed his game. He stayed in the gym. And he was one of the most humblest kids that I can actually say that we had a chance to coach, because he understood what he wanted to do. He wanted to get out of Quincy Street. He's still in Detroit right now. He haven't been home since last year. He's still in Detroit right now at school. You know what I mean? So those kids understand that, and I think that's the process that we got to do. You touched on it a little bit too. The second part of this question was, I'm gonna get this to Ant. Can you give us some more kids that you saw outside of a Corey that were special?
In the county or just at
Potomac?
Potomac?
No, at Potomac. At Potomac.
Over the years, or just as I coached?
No, over the years. Anybody that you can remember?
So we had a player I played with by the name of Mark Givens. He's just one of them. Mark was our point guard. I played behind Mark my junior year. He was a starting point guard senior year. Mark had not played a sport until his senior year. Mark never lifted a weight. Mark never ran a suicide. Mark never did a push-up. He never did a calf raise. He never did a leg press. Mark was my height. He would come in the gym and dunk on you. He will come in the gym and make you fall. He will win every suicide in practice. He will put you in the team room and put you on your pamper too. Mark was the, how you say, the trenches. Mark was in the heart of the trenches. He was the certified Potomac dude. He sold the drugs. He did all that. Turned his life around now. Got 2 kids. He's doing great for himself now. But the first 3 years, he was off the chain. I mean, off the chain. And he's one of the kids one of those special kids that wanted to make it out. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to get away from Boydell Avenue. I got Quincy Street. He wanted to get away from Boydell Avenue. He understood that. Another one was Dion. Dion didn't play his freshman year. It took for his grandmother to pass for him to get himself together. His grandmother passed, took like 2 weeks off of school, came back, got like a 2.8, eligible for the first year. For the first time in high school. First scrimmage, he gave Coolidge 30. First scrimmage, we like, who was this guy? We didn't know. Everybody was saying Dion this, but as a player, you got a competitive edge. Nah, he not better than me. He came in there, dropped everybody, and that's when he got the nickname. Coach Johnson called him franchise. Off that first scrimmage. And Dion understood, like you said, Dion understood he wanted to get out. Dion understood he had to get away from Boydell Avenue. He understood. Like you said, he was humble. Like your guy Dane, Dion might not say nothing. If you didn't know who he was, you wouldn't know he played basketball. He walk around school. He ain't gonna walk around with a Potomac jacket on. He gonna wear his trench coat. He gonna wear his hoodie. He gonna wear the polo, school polo. He ain't gonna come out of uniform. He ain't gonna come wearing a regular shirt just because he's that good in basketball. but he was never one of those kids that understood that work ethic and his talent could get him and his or change him and his family's circumstance. And the last one I say is Ramon Saunders. Another one of my good friends I played when he graduated me in 2013. Ramon was always good. Ramon was always good growing up, because always a big fat boy that could shoot. He ended up growing about 4 inches his senior year. He was probably like 5'11". He ended up growing like 4 inches, came in there like 6'2", 6'3". And, you know, when you grow, you slim out a little bit. Slimmed out a little bit. Bama was a walking double-double. You know what I'm saying? He did everything we needed, and now he's overseas playing basketball. He understood. He lived right up the street. He understood. That's what could get him. He worked so hard. We every summer we going to Marlow Heights Rec every day. We working out. We riding the bikes. We running. And he was another kid that understood where the basketball could take him, and he was a humble kid as well. He didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing to nobody. But if you made him mad or you talk trash, he'd definitely drop you off or put you on your pamper. You know what I'm saying? So that was just the name. It's a bunch of them, honestly, but that's just to name a few.
Coach Johnson.
Well, first of all, Deion actually had 36 against Coolidge. Ramon didn't play when we played Milford Mills because he messed up his ankle. They would have beat us, but not that badly. Mark Givens was a phenom. I mean, he would be on the ball defensively. You throw a pass, he could steal it from a defensive stance. Ramon Saunders also has a wife, a kid, and a master's degree. So he's a good man, a wonderful man. Man, he could come and be the next Ant when the Ant, you know what I mean? Like he would be one of the next one. Him and Jason. I had a kid, Walter Brody, Randall Brody.
Yeah, Brody.
Just a stone cold killer. And of course, Deion was humble. So what we do, if you got those kind of guys, like in practice, half the time, and Anna tell you, I don't always have the starters playing with the starters, because at some point in the game, you're going to have to mix this thing up anyway. So when I really wanted to get this thing on, I'll put Deion on one side and Randall on the other side. And the trash talk, you overrated, you fat, you dumb, you did. I mean, it was, and we don't do this for about 50.
Everything good?
I'm about to say, is he gone on y'all joint?
It was brutal.
Yeah.
Say again?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, so we practiced at Bowie State to get ready for the state championship, right? It's 2014. Then I had, at that time, Quadre Smith, Big Q. These was crazy. Before the regional finals, we're breaking up fights in the locker room. I'm like, yo, we got 3 minutes before we warm up. You know, you only get to 20 minutes. So I'm like, man, we got to go warm up. I'm like, y'all finish this later, man. Come on, let's just go do this. So we're at Bowie State. They coached Mark. That's my man, right? We had Bowie State practice on gym. He's like, man, coach. He said, do your kids always act like this? I said, I'm thinking, damn, they done embarrassed me. I'm like, yeah, this how they. He said, man, I wish my these soft dudes I got would practice like this one time a year. This man, what do you do, man? I got all these soft MF all over. I'm like, man, I'm thinking we was ready to get kicked out. I mean, I was like, look, man, this is my reality, man. I said in February, March, I can only practice for about an hour and 10 minutes. And then come to find out, they're like, nah, we're going to take this up the Bach Road. We ain't finished. I'm like, no, you're finished. And so they would practice after practice off of some, we got beef. Somebody get dunked on the last play in practice. They carrying it through the school. They didn't talk about it. So I only say that to answer your question. A lot of them are special, but it's more based off of not so much the talent that they have, but that competitiveness, man. I'm like, And I'm not saying this to promote my team situation, but the competitiveness making them really special, man. Like we don't get a bunch of kids going to all these fancy big colleges. They go somewhere though. They all gonna go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But we get a guy here and there, but they compete. I mean, it's nothing like getting that phone call from that junior college coach or that D3 coach saying, man, you got any more that you can send me anything? He said, man, I want one just like him. I'm like, well, they don't make them like all like him, but they call me at all times asking, what else you got? By October. So that does it for me, man. I love it. And so it's quite a few special. I would feel bad to name, specific names, knowing what all of them give me every practice.
Yeah, you're right, man. It's a lot. And, we just wanted to touch on that, not for comparison, but to kind of understand so people can know, how to deal with that kid. Because like you said, one thing I appreciate that I thought about doing, because I'm always listening to other people, and I was listening to Doc Rivers. And I don't know if people understand what Doc Rivers at Celtics, they didn't really all like each other.
Right.
A lot of people probably don't know that. But one thing that he did, he got with his best player, and he told Rondo, look, I need you my point guard. And I'm going to coach you just as hard as everybody else, probably even harder, But when I coach you, you got to be coachable so these dudes can understand, And that's one thing I did with Daniel. I met with him before we even practiced, and I told him, you're going to get coached extremely hard. Not that I think you can't get coached, but understand this. The other guys, they watching. They want to see if you're going to reject coaching. Or you're going to feed it. You need guys around you. This is how you get your guys around you. So I definitely appreciate that insight. So I'm going to pass you over to give a bounce pass to my man Will Maynard from Southern High School, representing in this High Point basketball shirt. He get a lot of gear, Coach. He got a lot of gear. We don't ever bring it to joke. All right, Will.
Hey man, I gotta beg for it sometimes. Luckily Curtis took care of me, but sometimes I gotta fight hard. You guys know how hard it is. They're coming to your gym with some nice gear and don't never bring you nothing. Never. So, Renard, definitely good to talk to you. You've been my man. I always appreciate you because when I was a young coach, you always gave me words of wisdom. You know what I mean? You and your staff, you and the OG over there, the surgeon.
Langley, yeah, that's your man, right?
Yeah. I really appreciate that because, I didn't play for you. I'm not from PG County. I didn't go to Delaware, but, you always took me under your wing and gave me great advice and stuff like that. Greatly appreciate that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I appreciate bringing your team over the scrimmage. You know what I mean? Because
that was a good round robin, 3 teams, right?
It's good to see. You know what I mean? It was good to see all that talent in the gym, and you was missing guys because of football. Because remember, Corey's brother wasn't there,
right?
And of course him because they was in this playoffs, state championship. Right. So my question for both of you guys, and Ant, it's great to meet you. I've heard so many good things about you. I haven't officially met you personally, but I know Ox talk about you a lot, and I know that's First coach. Oh, Ox coached you?
Yeah, he was when he was here my freshman year, and
he was.
That year we was real good, and we lost Thomas Stone. Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, we scrimmaged y'all that year too. That's when y'all had that dude. Y'all had what, Mush on your team?
Yeah, Mush.
Antonio Jennifer.
Tall Tone.
Yeah. Y'all came in the gym like a Division I team.
Yeah, they were loaded.
Big as a mug, and still got the brakes beat off.
Y'all was good. I remember that game, and I think that scrimmage made was when me and Ox became good friends because when we scrimmaged them that year, we only lost by 1 point, and they were shocked. We had 2 D1 kids on our team too. They were just juniors and not seniors. And I remember that scrimmage, and after that, that's when me and Ox became cool, man, because he was like, man, y'all boys out in the country ain't bad. They thought it was gonna be easy, but that's another story. But my question to both of you guys, and I'll let the OG answer first. What changes would you make to the current playoff system?
Wow. So that's a good question. I'm a kind of a numbers guy, and I'm gonna just try to be clear with this. What's the max preps, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have this very complex algorithm in terms of how they do strength of schedules and how they rate the teams and that sort of thing. And I swear, it always looks pretty accurate to me. Okay, maybe I'm biased to it because but that thing looks real. It looks real. It looks on point though. It looks on point, but there's some bias in it. But it does look on point because who you play and that sort of thing. I would not even mind because that's what, believe it or not, that's what the DCISA, whatever, they use max prep to determine their playoff seedings and power and that sort of thing. Did you know that?
Nah, I didn't.
A lot of people don't know that. So in DC, so that's why a lot of the DC teams, they be trying to play us like Chavez and them. They say, man, because even by playing y'all, we get points based on your points of where you ranked at. So they say y'all always kind of high. So T. Roosevelt does the same thing. Right, Rob always want to play us like, and then I found that to be true. So if the play format, if they have Polly at number 1, and the play at number 54, I would think they should play first, because it's crazy. And again, I'm not moaning, man. If you look at our region, first of all, as long as I don't know in terms of geographically, anyway, even if it's us, Oxon Hill now, we're the highest in terms of the northern part, but even going down to Great Mills, whatever, right? Or Great Mills coming to us, it feels like the same 10 to 12 teams in the 3A that would probably win it all, you play too soon. It just, like I went to see Huntingtown in St. Charles. I'm like, damn. So however this falls out, I might have to play Huntingtown in the first or second. I'm like, oh man, this just don't feel right. I'm like, we 22 and whatever. I'm like, I may have to play one of these teams. And Huntingtown had them dead to rights. It was a miss here. Tobias out there, you coached your ass off, excuse my language. You coached your butt off that game. Your whole staff. Miss layup here, miss layup there, terrible. I'm like, so you mean to tell me real soon I got to play one of them? That's crazy to me. So something has to give. I'm not going to keep crying about it because I really don't. But I think they should really use some kind of point system like they used to, just to get into the playoffs. Right? They used to have a point system. You had to win so many games like they do in football to get into the playoffs. So if they don't have everybody in it, I think the worst should play the first. I'm sorry. I don't care the geographic location. If I got to go to Potomac, wherever, I think the worst should play the first. That's it.
Yeah. You're not the first coach we've had on here that's expressed that. What about you, Ant?
So I say the only rule I change is the referee rule. So I say we shouldn't have to go down wherever and say we go to Baltimore and we playing Poly or City or any of them teams. I shouldn't hear that coach saying, "Look, James, that's a bad call." Like he shouldn't know that ref unless it's AAU was, you know what I'm saying? But it's like that. I don't think and that's for us too. I don't think we should have the same refs that we had all year. I think it should be a neutral site. Them refs don't know us like that. We don't know them refs like that. Let's play ball. I mean, not that I never make any excuses. I never complain. But at the same time, it be some type of biasness when it comes, when you go down there or you go down to St. Charles, or you go down to Poly. They know them coaches. They done had them for 18 games. And, you know what I'm saying? I just think the refs should be, like, rotating in a sense. I don't know how it could happen. I don't know what plan needs to be brung up upon. But I feel like the referees could be rotated and we get refs from Baltimore down here reffing out or I don't know, but you get what I'm saying though. You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
Can I chime in, Will?
Yo, I was about to ask you to chime in. You know that. I was about
So normally I don't do this, but just for the sake of the show, so the people can know. In our game against Springbrook, great team. I'm not taking enough away from their game plan. A big man, he played his butt off. We did not see any film when he actually did what he did against us. And our big man got in foul trouble within 3 minutes, which is cool, happens in the game. But getting down to the end of the game after 3 technical fouls, and that's where you come with the word bias, and like you said, I was able to talk to one referee, and he finally said, okay, you can stand up and talk to me. I asked him, I said, please don't give me a tap. One thing I don't do, I don't play getting ejected. But I just want to stand up because I don't want nobody to hear me what I'm about to say to you. I stood up and I asked him, I said, you do understand that this game was completely biased the whole game. He looked at me. He looked away. I said, you don't have to say nothing. I just want you to know that I know you know this because I can tell by the way you're reffing the game. His words were to me at that regional championship, whatever game it was, to go to the state. His words to me were, Coach, you absolutely right, but not by me. This is in a game to go to the states. You know what I mean? So I do understand and agree with you, but they're not going to fix it, Ant, because they call it complaining. It's not complaining when you hear the coach call out another referee's name, call him by first name and say, hey, James, what's going on? It just don't seem right. And John would tell you, we knew this going in 2016 when we went to Roosevelt. That didn't feel like a regional championship game, did it, John? It felt like a home game.
Yep.
We both owned the right to be there in this championship game. I don't care if it was at their spot. It felt like they had their people taking the money at the door. They had their people working the clock. They had everything was going on. And I just thought that we said this in the locker room before we even went upstairs. Just don't even feel like a regional championship game. And I understand you and on that. And I usually don't do this, but because it's quarantine time and I just I'm feeling myself this whole break. I ain't got no basketball. And people always say I need to talk a little bit more because people need to understand that. And it's for the kids.
My bad, Will, but since you hopped out there already, you said your big man had 3 fouls. Guess who they played before you? Me. My big man was about to foul out in the first half. Oh, guess who they beat before that? Sherwood, and their best player, Lacey, was on the bench when I walked in the fourth quarter. So I ain't throwing no shade though, but
it's funny because we've always been in the PG region, and I've always felt like it. I mean, one year we played. I'm not gonna say who we played, but they were really good. And all of a sudden, in that fourth quarter, when it was like a tie ball game about 4 or 5 minutes ago, because Renard even called me after the game. I remember it was crazy how the officiating was. All of a sudden, they were just shooting free throw at the free throw at the free throw at the free throw. I think it's just one thing where we just got to tell our kids, when you play type of teams, you have to beat. You're gonna have to beat them, and unfortunately, you're gonna face tougher obstacles in life than 3 biased officials. So, you know what I mean? Just got to live through it. Because I've seen situations where teams do cheat and still lose. But it's tough for a high school kid, though, to deal with a situation like that. Very tough.
And it's not – and with that, our kids notice it. Like, our kids aren't green or oblivious to it, and it starts to mess with their mental. It starts to mess with their mental. I mean, and then I guess, that's our job as coaches to make sure they stay, float and keep their mind right. But our kids literally come over there and say, Coach, how are we supposed to win 5 on 8? Like, how are we supposed to do that? Like, literally, how are we supposed to do that? And honestly, I just be like, I don't know. I literally would tell her, I don't know. Figure it out. Like, just go win. Go figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's like you said, it's not. Like Coach Joe said, it's called. People can call it complaining, but I'm not complaining. It's just speaking what it is. I'm a realist. It's not fair, and not life ain't fair. I know that. I know the whole story, but these are kids at the end of the day, man. And cheating a kid ain't gonna get nobody nowhere.
And the thing about it too is that people don't realize it. They already do it for the state semis. So how hard is it? Majority of these officials are already college officials So they're used to traveling hours away on a work night anyway. So it's not really a big issue. And going back to what you said, Renard, I mean, I agree. I mean, one year I think we might have been in the region with y'all. I can't remember. Everybody in our section had a winning record.
Yep.
Everybody in our section had a winning record.
Mm-hmm.
One year, Douglas was just like you. Douglas lost one game and was the second seed.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They lost one game and was the second seed. So they had to fix that. No offense, but I some teams that go to Maryland every year that I know that other teams that I've seen all year could beat. And I always say the thing I don't like about the system, and I understand it's perfect. I feel sorry for PG teams, and I feel sorry for Baltimore teams because a lot of times the best matchups are in the region semis and region finals, and the state doesn't get a chance to see that. So instead, we had to watch a 30-point blowout. But instead of watching, a Potomac, Oxon Hill, or that St. Charles game, instead of watching that at Maryland on a big court, we got to watch that in a sold-out gym where people couldn't even get in. You know what I mean? That's the one thing I wish that we could do a better job. And with so many people, with so many people talking down on public school basketball, I think games like that can show people that we have high-level basketball players in public school. Unfortunately, we don't get that matchup on the big stage. We always get in the region semis or first rounds.
Well, I can't say that they are doing a better. Well, they tried to do a better job last year. I mean, they didn't do the best, but because those two teams, so whoever we still had to play a St. Charles, Oxon Hill, whatever, but the winner of that game was gonna meet Poly in the state championship. So that was a little better than what it was before. Instead of playing Poly in the second round, you know what I'm saying? They put them on the other side, and so I will say that they're trying to make a make a change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not the best effort, but it's some effort.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like you said, we can't have everything perfect, but that's just definitely a good start. And maybe, you know what I mean, if our coaches, we get together and they give us more of a voice, we can get stuff like that changed. Because, I mean, they do it for football.
Yeah, they do it for football.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We do it for football. We have every region has a region director. A region director is not doing that much stuff during the year. You know what? Update your standings every year. If you keep it tallied week by week, we can have a point system. Then it can be fair. All right, let's break it down. NCAA tournament, whoever team's in the bracket, 1 to 64 goes. Some people are gonna have a bye and go for this, so we can put the best brand of basketball at Maryland when everybody's looking. Because they Potomac play a team from somewhere else and they beat them by 35. That's what they're gonna say. Oh, this is bad basketball. I should have went to Hammond. You know what I mean? We got to showcase our basketball better. We have good basketball players in public.
Yeah, I agree, Will. And I want to add this before we get to the next question. First thing we got to do is, as a state, everybody got to have the same rules when it comes down to recruitment, playing, and everything else. That's the first thing, because when we played Prairie Hall, and not to knock on them, but we all know the story on their roster. You know what I mean? But in PG County, we do that. We won't be around coaching too long. You know what I mean? That's the first thing. Everybody got to have the same rules when it comes down to recruitment. And it's got to be statewide, for that to happen. So I definitely agree. But they're making good straight strides. You can't be perfect. But like Ant said, you're going to have adversity. And it's going to be something way worse than 3 officials. You know what I mean? And they're doing the best job they could and can as well, because I don't know if any of y'all ever had a whistle before and trying to ref a little kid game. That's the worst experience in the world when you mess up on a call or something like that. So it's not easy. So I definitely agree.
It's easy from the stands. It's easy from the stands, I tell you that. But you're right. But that whistle, no sir. No sir. Well, I appreciate that feedback from that question. And I'm going to pass it along to my man, Tobias Jennifer.
What's up, fellas? So I got the last question. So obviously we've taken a break here over the last couple of months, or I would say, I guess it would be a couple months from the show because of COVID, because of all of the injustices going on and things of that nature. I know firsthand COVID has affected not only myself, but my program. So kind of want to kind of want to get you guys' take on it. How has the virus affected your ability to communicate with not only your returning players, but your potential incoming players in your program? And then what suggestions on how to move forward with the athletics for the upcoming school year?
You want to go first?
Now you go first.
Okay. Like we spoke on earlier, Coach Johnson gives me a lot of leeway as far as dealing with the kids, especially in the off season. Being as though the head coach can't be around, you know what I'm saying? It's okay for assistants to be in the gym, you know, this, and the third. So our program is big on development. It's big on getting kids better. You might have that kid like a Corey, like a Dion every once in a while. But that's still a maybe, and those kids still need work. So it has affected us huge in a huge way because our kids are missing this development. We got a kid some of you guys know the kid Muscles, and we call him Muscles because we want him to get some muscles. But Muscles can't get no muscles if he can't get in the gym or in the weight room.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Muscles can't get better. Like, we have kids, like Coach Johnson said, no shame in this game. We put kids on JV that in 11th grade if we think they can develop for next year for varsity. So some of these kids have never been seen before by coaches, by scouts, by anybody in that sense, because, you know, nobody pays attention to JV in a sense. But those kids needed this summer. Those kids needed this summer and this upcoming year. Basically, maybe it's 50-50 right now that we might not have a season, but they needed this upcoming year and this summer in order for them to go to school, in order for them to get college looks, in order for them to chase their dream. So on top of that, a lot of kids that are here for sports or that love sports, that play sports, are only motivated by sports. It's unfortunate, but that's the world we live in. So you take that away, they're not going to care about school. They're not going to care about learning. They're not going to care about getting good grades because sports was their motivation. So if there's no sports, they're not going to get good grades. They don't get good grades. They have no chance of going to college. So that is affecting us in a huge way. The incoming kids from Benjamin Stoddard and I guess that's our feeder school. Our only feeder school got shut down, but we can't even figure out who's what because of this. You know, you can't really get in contact with them. Parents, I mean, I don't want to be around nobody because you don't know who has what. And parents, I'm pretty sure they don't want their kids around anybody. Can't get in the gym. They're taking the rims down. You can't work outside. So it's really, we're at a handicap because of the rivalry, because of COVID. So you can't really do anything. It's affected us in a huge negative way. But I mean, as far as what we're doing, we're trying to communicate with our kids. We have a few kids that are with some AU programs who are still doing some workouts and things of that nature. When the rims were up, I was outside with some of the kids. But it's like every parent not sending their kid out there, they don't trust it, it's too high. You know, I mean, you know, I'm pretty sure some of you guys are parents, so some of you guys understand. So it has affected us in a huge negative way. I don't really see any positive thing other than, and on top of that, our kids are going to find trouble. Yeah. Our kids are going to find trouble. We just got the bad news today. We had a kid died today that played on our team last year. He was in Montana at school. And he died. He drowned. He drowned in the lake. And I don't know who knows what he was doing there. Who knows what he would have been doing if all of this wasn't going on. But it's just, we have several. I live right 5 minutes away from Potomac, and you see kids walking up and down the street. You see kids. I might be coming home 12 at night, and you see them outside walking down the street. You know what I'm saying? And nothing good can happen from that. It's literally nothing good that can happen from that. So I don't see a positive way it has affected us. All I see is negative ways, man. And we're trying to turn it around. We're trying to keep in touch with them. We're trying to keep them motivated, but it's hard. I mean, maybe you guys give us some insight on it, but or at least me some insight on it. But it's hard to do that when they have nothing to do.
No, man, I think you hit the nail on the head, man, Coach.
So, Coach Ant said a whole lot. I'm gonna just be real with you guys. I may feel impacted more or just as much as the kids. You know, we had a tough loss in the season. You know, I'm getting up there, and I was just like, you know, is this a sign for me to really pass this thing on to Ant right now? I'm not gonna lie. You know, he's keeping it together. You know, I have older coaches on my staff. You know, we're trying, but it's painful, man, because our kids need us, man. We have some, you know, even from that March to June, we knew where they were. We knew they were getting a breakfast and a lunch. You know what I'm saying? So now, shoot, I'm sending money to folks and cash apping for them to eat and all that kind of stuff. And then I can't really see them. So it's disheartening for me. And like I said, Ant hit all the main points. I thought we were at a good place in our program to continue building and developing and growing. I think we had some potential Corys and them coming in from middle school. I'll be totally honest with that. We had some kids that's turning down the St. John's and them of the world. I don't know if they're going to do it now. And they probably, you know, maybe I wouldn't either. But we had kids that's teetering between us and Murray Riken and all that. But our kids from the neighborhood saying, I really want to go to Potomac, but my mom and my dad is this. But the kids at Potomac or outside with Ant working out every day. So we're going to take a major hit. Our program is based on development, like Ant said, and the development of the relationships. And, you know, I'm out and I'm at the same grocery store. Coach. Now, we took a big hit, man. Our program is going to take a huge hit. Personally, I've taken a huge hit emotionally, mentally, psychologically. I'm not thinking we're going to be back even in February. I got to, you know, keep my mental properly, and Ann is helping me a lot to be ready for 2021, man. You know, I'm not gonna lie. It crushed me, man. I love these kids, man. That's my source of energy. They keep me young. They do more for me than I do for them. So right now I'm in a tricky spot. Yeah, man. I'm in it. So if y'all hear next year, Ann's the coach. I'm not even being facetious. It might can do that, you know. I don't know how I'm gonna hold it together. I just don't know.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think it's taking a hit on all of us psychologically because for a lot of us, basketball is our outlet. And that's one thing I always talk about with my kids is, you know, no matter what's going on at home, you know, coming to the gym, this is your chance to let loose, get away from all of that stuff. And now those kids don't have that outlet. And like Ant said, that's kind of scary. Now they have all this extra time on their hands. They don't know what to do with it. Obviously, Coach Battle, who's a really good friend of all of ours and coaches with us on TakeOver, has had to deal with a lot of deaths and things of young kids in the D.C. area. Obviously, my heart goes out to the young man who played in you guys' program that passed away, that you got the news today in Montana. But that's, you know, with this virus, you know, everything's unpredictable. Everything's unpredictable, man. And, you know, we got to count our blessings. And honestly, we don't see, you know, when we first got out of school, it was supposed to be 2 weeks. It was supposed to be 2 or 3 weeks or something. And now it's been X amount of months. So, you know, only thing we can stay optimistic for, you know, a season coming in, you know, late January or whatever the case may be. But our fingers are crossed. But I appreciate you guys' answers, man. I think those were amazing. I'm going to pass it to Coach O so he can close us out.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man, it's great insight, man. Before we cut up out of here, though, Coach Johnson and Coach Ridley, Coach Ant, we want to know if you have any questions that you want to ask of us and that we can answer for you guys as well. So we turn the tables on you guys. So any questions that you may have.
I like this group, and I think that especially going forward, and especially the outer conference things like Huntingtown, we're in the same, but I would like to, as coaches and guys, let's do some scrimmages, let's do some team practice or something later on. You know what I mean? Just, I don't mind come up to Bladensburg and do a practice with you. Just stuff like that, chop it up, because what is iron sharpen iron, steel sharpen steel. But and I'll come to Blake, Blake can come to Potomac. We could just, if we got coaches that we seem to get along, kind of respect each other, like each other, I'll come to Parkdale anytime. Let's just have a scrimmage. If there's an open spot, for a game, just good, hard competition in the spirit of, making each other better. Heck, I don't mind sharing a scouting report that I put together against you guys. You know what I'm saying? I don't, it's just, I think that, like I said, I have way fewer years than, Tobias and John and all that, and Ant and, and Dez. But, I like talking to you guys. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. Me and the Bergs and the Lou Howards, we got our own little stuff, right? We want to beat each other's brains out. We cool enough, though. We're good enough. But that's different. Stay out of that. Just stay out of all that. It is, but those my guys in our own way. But, and then we in the same league, so we won't kind of have this kind of, but you guys can have your own relationships, whatever. So, but I just do think going forward, I really appreciate this. I don't know how much time it took, but it was actually helpful for me. It was therapeutic. This was very therapeutic. And obviously the questions you guys asked were very insightful, made me rehash and rethink about a lot of good things that can help me sleep better tonight, wake up happier tomorrow.
We gotta get together, man. Just like we did on Friday.
Yeah, that was cool.
Just shoot the breeze, man. I mean, we got to do that more often. I was just telling one of my boys the other day, man, we need to see each other than funerals. And yeah, I know some other coaches that they do stuff together as a group. And I was saying to myself, just think about it. Why can't us black coaches do it? You know what I mean? We want to win the game, but at the end of the day, man, we got to stick together. Because what we say all the time, we know it's different out here for us. And that's not making an excuse, but, I mean, we've seen certain coaches, and I always go to the Todd Bozeman theory. Todd Bozeman got in trouble out Cal, could never sniff a high major job. You see these other guys out here, without saying any names, they can mess up at 2 or 3 places and still end up at a high major job.
Absolutely.
If that don't tell people how it is, then I don't know what will. I'm not saying we got to use it as an excuse, but just use it as an eye-opener. And I always tell young coaches that. I always tell my kids that, man. I'm not saying that you use race, you know what I mean, as an excuse, but the harsh reality is, it is a difference in a lot of situations.
Yep.
Absolutely.
This time, my fault, me cut you off. This time we should reserve online bay for Top Golf this time.
We tried to last time. We tried to, Tobias. Remember I told you can't. You only can reserve a certain amount of bays. They don't let you
go down Huntingtown, man. Let's go down that way.
I love it down Calvert. Man.
It's nice down there on the water, man.
Yes, sir.
That's what we need to be.
We need to go down outside at a spot and just go and just shoot the breeze as coaches, man, and just live it up, man. Have a good time.
And Coach Johnson, and Coach, for as far as you saying it's being therapeutic, and for us too, because how many times we text like, man, we gotta get back on the show. We gotta get back on the show. We gotta get back on the show, man. Because this show is two-sided. It's for everybody, but it's mainly for the coaches by the coaches. So we can make sure that we still keep sharpening our iron, making sure that we still staying in contact, because like Coach Will said, and y'all always get on me for being the guy that always say this, but we got to give out our roses while we can smell them. You know what I mean? So it's very important that this is because life is short, you know, and we spend a lot of time away from our families for one throughout the season. You know, we look up and we gotta Coach. I didn't even realize I've been at Blade for 18 years. You know what I mean? Wow. I'm like, you know what I mean? That's a long time. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, but we understand that and going and understanding that now, this is therapeutic for us as well. So we definitely appreciate you, man. And I want to clarify something that I wanted to say earlier. Coach Ant is not working out Potomac kids on the track. That was team takeover kids.
All right, there you go. Hey, right. I appreciate that. That's a good clarification. I appreciate it.
They're gonna take that and run with them.
Nah, I got you. I appreciate that. Anything else, guys? This has been good.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Yep.
Coach. Now the opposite deserves it. Only lions in my circle, we hungry for purpose. Such as vision, all these stripes, you can see that I earned them. And fuck the system, take the knowledge and study and learn it. Be as strong as the weakest, 1 through 12 is equal. Trap is hard now, you know I had to thread the needle. You know I had to thread the needle, try erase and draw it up, just trying to see my youngest even. Yeah, you know I had to thread the needle, try erase and draw it up, just trying to see my youngest even.